Welcome back to the channel, guys. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are around this beautiful planet of ours. You're joining me here on your home of Hopium-free crypto and economic market cycle updates. Today we're updating Bitcoin and cryptos. Let's look at what's happened on those charts over the last 24 hours. We've seen that small pump, the fake out, the rejection, what prices are important right now, and which exact price is going to be the figure that we're watching for the big bullish flip on the traditional markets. That these traditional markets are the things that basically run everything else. We like to think Bitcoin is the center of the universe. Alas, it is not, but it is something that we do enjoy and we do trade here. So I'll come back to these short-term, medium-term, long-term. I'm sure you can have a read there, but I'll just make a bit more sense of it in a moment after we've done our update. So Bitcoin got to that level of 23.8. Remember, we were looking for a potential hold above that level. It did get a few bucks above, just not strong enough. And then yesterday, it basically reversed and came all the way back down. Market closed about 9 hours ago, and now we've even broken that swing low. So this is that choppy period at the highs. What we need to see ASAP is a move back above 23,800 and a close at least. We need a couple of days now to get above that because we've already tempted it once and we've got a lower swing top here. So this is quite weak for Bitcoin at the moment, especially with that inflation data coming out. Now, of course, these events are always very volatile. So the one thing we can be sure of is we're going to see some sort of market expectation, up or down, volatility, shakeout, breakout type event. So let's keep that number in mind, 23.8. That is not the critical number that I'm watching for a massive medium macro term bullish flip. That is on the S&P 500, all right? So at the moment, even though we're seeing some short-term rejection points here for BTC and of course Ethereum, at least we're still trading in that range between the $20,000 and the $24,000 level. Remember, 21,700 has been a key level across the last 6 to 7 weeks now for BTC. The low I'm watching is this swing bottom here. This is one of the critical lows at 20,700. The 50% level comes out very close at 21,100. And then, of course, the 21,700 level. So basically a $1,000 range. This is for BTC to hold, to continue to form a base, to then test those higher prices. So that's a good time to come back to this. Short-term, bullish, many traps. I think this has been one of those traps already in the short term. Short term, I still think BTC, for now, until this level is broken, until 20,700, it still has the potential to move up, break 24/7, and then come up and test high prices around 27. This is the top of the 13th bar, so 27K, and then the low here at about 28K. So while it remains in this trading range, it still has the potential to form a base to then break out and test higher prices. So that's what I'm waiting for BTC, even though it looks slightly weaker than Ethereum. So Ethereum, something we looked at in yesterday's video right here, counting the weeks, nice and simple, just to give us an idea of where this could basically top out. And it hasn't been moving much. I think investors are going to get a little bit nervous soon. You can see the 25th of July that week, we pumped up. The week before was the bigger pump, and then the late party came in the following week. That's right here on this candle. And then they've all tried to come in the last couple of weeks, and the market has just not moved. And so if you can remember to your own type of trading investing, coming in late and then waiting a few days, maybe a couple of weeks, you start to basically shit the bed because you want to see this thing keep pumping like it did just a couple of weeks earlier. Everyone else has made the gains. You've heard of people making gains, but it's just not happening right now. And of course, this always happens at the end of moves. In particular, a lot of that noise has come out about the merge. So maybe that has just worn off. People have just lost energy in trying to promote the merge so much. It's the 10th of August. We still have another 5 to 6 weeks to go. We may get a couple of weeks down, just light down, nothing dumpage all the way back to 1,000, but maybe we come back and test the levels of $1,500, $1,400, $1,300, nothing severe, and then aim to push higher again past 1,800 and test the low to mid $2,000 range. That's going to take time, probably leading into that merge. The worst thing, well, the downside we don't want to see is the market to fall, but then only come back weak to around 1700 and then break down again. That's the bearish scenario. If we break down and then test the levels at around 13 or 14, come back up and break out, that's exactly what I want to see for the strength of ETH. So keep an eye on that as well. This is basically probably stalling with all of the CPI stuff coming out in a few hours' time. The big number that I'm watching here, S&P 500, this is going to give us that macro flip. Just one of the signals for the macro flip is 4,200 points on the S&P, and we need to do it within this swing range. So I'm using the TIA Gann swing indicator. You can find a link to this in the video description. I talk about it a lot, shill it a lot. It is amazing to use. It's so simple, and look, I'm not going to go on and on about it. It saved me a lot of money. It's made me a lot of money. Enough said there. Looking at where we currently sit, the top is at 4,186 points. The reason I'm using this range is because this is the biggest bounce range that we've seen in the bear market for the S&P 500. So to get an idea of what investors are actually doing, what's going on out there, we need to see the move have more points. So the point move is 479, call it 480 points. This move has to be bigger than 480 points to give us that flip that the bulls are starting to take control over the bears. Basically, investors have decided that there is more in it to the upside than there is to the downside. That's why they're pushing the price higher than 480. Hasn't happened yet, but if that happens, then that really leads to the whole the flip, or basically balancing now of the bulls and the bears, so we can get to that flip. That is a key area that I'm watching. So even if that happens, say we go to 4,200 points, because that is the 480 points from this low here, which is around that 3720. It can still be some time trending around these ranges of 3,500 to 4,200. That's okay. We've just seen that we will see the flip. I hope so. And if we see that, then we can say, all right, the bull is getting ready. It hasn't run just yet, but it's one signal, and we don't have to be so fearful about all of the downside negative news that continues to pump out in the media. Stuff like stocks tumble as caution reigns ahead of the US inflation data. We have more of the dollar edges higher as traders await US inflation reports. This just keeps circulating time and time again. We've seen actually quite a few companies post big losses. This is just in cryptocurrencies that we are interested in. Of course, there's plenty of companies that are posting losses as well. But Bitcoin miners, Marathon to $192 million net loss. Galaxy Digital, $554 million loss. This triples from a year ago. This is Mike Novogratz, the guy that had Luna tattooed all over his arm and obviously lost everything in Luna, or everything that was in that position in Luna. They still have a little bit remaining, 1.7 billion as of June 30th. But think about this, including the company maintained a liquidity position of 1.5 billion, including 1 billion in cash. So they're still holding a fair bit of cash. Cathie Wood also down a ton. So, this is sort of the hopium that I'm sitting here for all of us here as investors. Cathie Wood's ETF fell all the way back to its COVID crash low. If your portfolio dropped as low as the COVID crash low, how much you had in your account, then you're doing about the same as Cathie Wood, who is estimated to be in the tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars of net worth, with her also company here having managed billions of dollars. All right, so even the smartest people get it really, really wrong. And I also like to remind myself of that, because during the bull markets, we tend to give a lot of energy and attention to these guys who are managing billions of dollars. But even they do make huge, huge errors in their investing. And even when their stocks or their companies are down 80%, they're still making bad decisions by, in this case, for Cathie Wood, selling out her Coinbase at the lows. This is a Coinbase chart here. It fell 90%. She was selling it through these lows. This is what the articles are saying. And now Coinbase has pumped about 100% and is now dropping away. After these sharp pumps, they tend to drop again. But selling a good chunk of her position of Coinbase during those lows. So even the best of us do make terrible investment mistakes and live to fight another day because of their money management, and they basically don't wreck their entire portfolio. So, they have something still to work with. So in that case, that's what we're looking at here for Bitcoin. These are the levels that I'm watching like a hawk to understand whether we're going to flip bullish or bearish. I've got my short-term ideas here. There are going to be many traps because there are a lot of overhead resistance levels. In terms of the medium term, I think we will, at this stage, while 20,700 holds, we will get that pump up and then a fallback again to test some of these levels. That's why I've got here, it's a bearish outlook with a pump trap. And then the long term, I still think Bitcoin is going to see another major bull market before 2026, which is where I think the major markets will top out around those levels. But in the meantime, this is the big number that I'm watching. I'm watching 4,200 on the S&P 500, hoping that we break through that level today on the inflation figures. So hopefully they come out as expected or slightly better. That should give that market a pump up. That should then pump the S&P just enough. Even if it pulls back later, that's fine. I just want to see it get to 4,200 points. And then that's going to give me a more medium to longer term signal about the bulls taking control, even if the market does fall back down again. That's okay. Tables are turning, and that's all I want to look for when it comes to my investing. So a few things we need to keep an eye on today. S&P 500, 4,200 points. BTC must maintain that trading bottom, 20,700 to 21,700, and hopefully pump above 24,700. And as for ETH, I think we might get a little bit of a turning over soon, but if we don't, we get the close and the break above $1,800. So that's what we need to see on all three of these majors. Like, subscribe, guys. I'll see you very soon at the next video. It's a ciao for now from Rhodes in Greece. All the links are in the video description with whatever you need. Until then, have more fun to get more done. Peace out.